Oh man, PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for the old guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. Young guys can learn from me too. But I'm catering to the old guys because, they want to change jobs. Now this is video 38D. Remember, video 38 was huge. So I had to cut it down, and this is 38D. Now, for security reason, you know how I mentioned that you have to kind of validate, sanitize, do a lot of things before you start doing all the heavy lifting of working with database. So I took it upon myself to add something also that's also good, and I put it here on this file. What I did was I moved everything up to the top like I said I was going to do, and I added this line right here, this particular line. And what I did was this server, which is a super global, will read this means PHP self, which happens to be this name, because you're going to call it constantly, right? So what happens is, before going through anything, before even doing all this stuff, I want to check to be sure that it's actually running from here. In other words, that somebody did HTTP, S colon / and the name of the URL with the name of the script that you're working with. So I want to be sure that it's like that, and not something that came like from a robot or came sideways, like I always say. You know what I mean? It's like somebody wrote it, put that URL in, hit the return button, then it went out there to check. And I kind of put this in here. Now this is the actual, when you do $server PHP self, it'll give you this as the results. So what I did is, because I know that's the name of it, I just put it right in there. I say, oh, if this equals to this, then it's okay. So remember I told you that these things correspond to other ones, the opposite ones. So if you go like this, right, see how you got that little line underneath it? You can go check. You can go down the line and see where it is. So you say, okay, no, it's not there yet. It's not over here. So you keep going at it. You go at it again and again. And then there it goes, right here. So that means that anything true, if it's true, then it'll do everything from there to here. If for some reason it's not true, do this. You are not allowed to access this site, and then maybe move on to something else, right? So, but for now, we're going to leave it like that. So what happens is, like, if for instance, I change this to a, let's say 2, right? This is not 2 here. There's no 2 here. So what happens is I'm going to run it, right? See? You are not allowed to access this site. Get it? Because for some reason something happened. Maybe somebody didn't do it like this. Somebody put it within another file or something. And that's just another way of doing it. It could be more complicated than this, but this is kind of like what you should be doing. I mean, you should encrypt, you should do all these things, but which you'll learn as we go. Okay, now if wait a minute, let's change this, let's save it. Did we save it? Yes, we did. Now let's run it again. Let's see, you get your menu. So that's just another way of also protecting yourself. Now remember, we created your globals. We make sure that the nouns was there. Remember, it was hidden right over here. Remember that? Hidden. So, because when you run this, where is it? See? It'll run itself. Then it'll go up here and say, oh yeah, it is equal to this, and it's fine. It'll keep going. So then you go like this, you say, okay, this is the filter of all this information that you're passing, right? Which is the nouns. So is that equal to that? Remember I told you that once you create the actual, where would it be at? like right here. See, once you hash, it only goes one way. Like you can't do a dehash, so you can see what this was. Now, once you hash, that's it. It's one way, and then you return it, right? So when it comes over here to check, right, it says, oh, this is what's inside that form. Now I'm going to use it against this. I'm taking this information that I got from here, which is all that crazy looking, symbols, encrypted stuff. Then you're going to compare with this. Now, even though that encrypted stuff does not look like this stuff, this guy will check for sure. So what he'll do is he'll check everything that was this. I'm going to check this against what you sent over through the form. So if you kind of go like here, I think we should go to view. I should have put that on the video, but you do the source. My network's been kind of like, it was terrible this morning, that's for sure. So then, see all this craziness right here? See that? That's the encrypted stuff. So this gets sent over. It gets sent over when you type, when you say, what is it? When you hit the insert and it goes right over, it knows that it's there. So this, where is this? That's not the, right here. So it goes like on top, it goes check. It says, oh, here it goes. So let's check. This password verify underscore verify is what does it. It'll look at that stuff and then it'll look at this. It says, is it equal to the same thing? And it is. It is equal to it. You don't see it that way because you already hashed it, right? But this guy knows that what it really is. It knows that that hash information is this. So if it equals to the same thing, you put it here. This is going to be true. It's always it will always say true or false. Nothing else. And of course you check. Is it equal to false? If it is, I want you to do this, go back over there, and then exit out. Remember that? If not, then keep going. Open up the, try the database connection and catch any errors. And that's where we stand. That's where we are right now. Just thought I'd let you know that that's a good idea to add that stuff in there. Now, what I wanted to do too now is to continue. That we're going to continue by adding a global, like an error message variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in here. Everything from now on is going to be put here, because it makes more sense. So you put it here and you go global. They say $get message. We're going to be using this in a little bit, right? And this filters out the input data, the post data. So the use of the sanitized filter that we're going to be using, because once you send this information back and it does all this, and say, oh, it looks great. Now I want to check to see if if we can use the sanitize. Remember how we did before, filter underscore input, and then we had, I'm going to show you. We did it from before, because the filter, let me see, I'm going to put this in caps. So you say filter underscore sanitize underscore string. Remember, because you're sending a string. If you're not sending a string and it's like an integer, it'll be something like this. If it's like an email, it'll be something like, oh, here you go, email. If it's something like a number enter like that. If it's like a float, it'll show as float. Excuse me. So what happens is that this filter strips the tags, and it does the HTML encoded, like those double quotes and stuff. Like, I'm gonna need this. Yeah, checks for this, or it checks for this. You know what I'm saying? So encoding the quotes can be disabled by setting that stuff. So the filter sanitize ink, like I mentioned, filters and removes the character except for digits, right? And the string, it gets rid of all that stuff, strips. It optionally strips and encodes special characters. Remember, any crazy characters, and of course the email filters removes all the characters except for the letters, digits, and and crazy stuff like I mean, it's up to you because you could keep all this. I mean, you could do this, you could do that, you could do $, you could do this. There's a lot of things you could do. So what happens is it filters out a lot of the stuff. The filter flags normally is, well, I just meant this. There's actually a bunch of them. There's a if you did something like, I don't know if I should start writing it here because it'll be, let me just write it, some of it anyway. So if you do the flags, that's what you call flags. You could say no, let's spell that, no underscore encode, this underscore, there's quotes, like that. That one, do not encode the quotes. So if you do that, so please don't encode the quotes. If you did, let me write this. If you did flag strip like this, low, that it removes characters with ASCII value like this stuff, something like this stuff. You know what I mean? If you do like high, I guess that would be this stuff. If you want me to write it up, I'll write it up. Like that. If you do encode low, let's see, encode underscore load, right? That encodes characters with the value of same thing like the other one, like this. And the same thing if it says high, does this one, like this, does this one. If you use amp, that encodes the ampersand character like this. It'll do this one. What is the ampersand? This, or it could do, well, like this, you know, amp. This is how you include it if you need to. That's the entities. Oops, not caps, no caps. AMP, like that. If you do that in HTML, it puts this for you. So the filter input function gets an external variable from the form input and optionally filters that stuff. So I'm going to put what it kind of would look like. The function that I'm going to use, like to validate variables from insecure sources such as the user input, right? Because it's coming from somebody, but putting that information, they're hitting the submit, and it's going to go through all that. So it would be something like this. We're going to use this ID. Remember, this is the first name because that's what we're going to be using. Maybe I should just do, what is it called? Camel case. It'll be something like this. They like for us to do this. And then we're going to say filter underscore input because that's what that is. Then you're going to go like this. How many stuff do we have? We got, go over here. So we got 1, 2, 3. We're not going to do this because it's automatically. And this 4. We just do like whatever we have here. 1, 2, 3, and then plus the file. All right. Sorry, guys. Then we just go like this. Right. The first, this one will be last. This is the last name. This one's going to be email. This one is going to be maybe nothing. Just do this. Just do these 3 because there's only 3 of them. we do the filter, we don't have to do that because we're going to write something else that's going to take care of that. So we're going to be in here, we're going to say, okay, input, make sure it's caps, all right, post, because it's from, why are we using this post? Because if you go down here, it's a form and it's using post right here. And this is the input stuff, see, input, this is post. So this is why you're mentioning it over here. So what you do is you say comma, and then you're just going to put your whatever first name, that's the name that we gave it. So if you kind of, hold on one second. And then we're going to put in here filter, that's the flag, remember we talked about that. Sanitize string. So what was I going with this? Oh, okay, so if you go down here, this is it right here, see, first name, last name, email. So this is what we're going to put in here because this is coming from the form. So let's do this. I'm going to copy, I'm going to stick that sucker right in there. That's another way of doing this filter thing, but that's okay, we'll use that for now. We get this all posts, right? It's all posts. Should we do the number thing? Man, we could. I don't know. Let's do this one first. Let's do the last. I want to think about it for a second. If we do this, that will be last name. It is a string, right? This would be email. So let's put this as email. Then we're going to make this as email, right? We do have that number. Let me see. If we go down, hold on one second. We're gonna do right here. Look, it's a record number here. So if we go, let's say right here, record number. It's in. Do it anyway, just for the training, and it's also a good way of, just in case somebody somehow. Where are we? Are we right here? We'll just do this. We'll say, put that in there, and we'll call it a temp ID. Was that what I called it? Let me see. Called it, yep, temp ID. All right. So, but this is actually coming from the actual. Let's say rec ID. This here is actually coming, like I mentioned, from the form. Right here, rec ID is hidden. That's why you didn't see it. So if we do this, we go, okay, we're gonna do this. It's not a mail. This thing is more like a number. Let's say number underscore int. Like that. See, there you go. So the function returns true if the variable is inserted and it exists, and if it's not, no, otherwise it returns false. So what happens is this checks for the insert button now that we're going to do. So we're going to put this in here. I'm going to say if, remember this button right here? Right here, this button. So we're going to be checking. So in case you pressed it, right? So if you go like this, is set. That's also a good security thing too, because you could just write over here, is these if that form has certain if it was set, and you can kind of like check there too. But right now we're going to be doing it here. So we're going to say dollar, because it is posts, right? Then we're going to say comma, not comma because it is, remember everything in the form when it's passed on, all these things, goes into an array. That's what kind of looks like this. So if we do this, maybe we should put some space here. You think we should? Yeah, it's alright. We just gotta do it like this, and then we'll just say this, right? And if it is set, now we're going to check for all the other guys. So we're going to say, you know what I wanted to do? We wanted to see if we can check. I mean, I am doing it up here already because I already did it right here. Maybe we could just not, if text, because I already did it. This information can actually go right here. If it's inserted, you know what I'm saying? But let's see. It is inserted. We're gonna check, and now we want to check. We already did this here. See, this is once I hit this insert. Well, I could kind of just put this like right up here, but that's okay. We're gonna put it right here, and then we're gonna say, let's check to see if they're empty, right? So if I go like this, let me see, maybe I should make this bigger. Let's bring this down more. Matter of fact, so we can keep track, let's do this, remember? Say this. Like that. Now this belongs to that one. Let's check out if empty. Like this. And how many are we checking? 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be checking 3 of them. So that would be, let's do like this. The last one, we definitely don't need it because we're only doing 3 of them. So we'll go like this. We'll leave this, leave the space. Now here is where you want to put in your this. So we'll put this guy, this variable in here for the first name. Then we're going to do the next variable, which will be the last name. Then we're going to do this variable, which would be the email address. And he just wants to check to see if it's empty. If it's empty, then we're going to leave a message, okay? Now I'm going to create, remember that's a lot of, so right here we're going to say, we'll say something like $. Remember how we created that, this right here? It's going to go in there. So we're going to say $, get message. We're going to send something in there. And we're going to say all input form data is empty. And then we'll do some line breaks. How about that? Oops, did I spell that right? No, I did not. Like this. Semicolon. Then we're gonna say a header. We're gonna keep that. Let's do header. Header. Remember how we talked about that? And then we're gonna put here exit because I want, in case that fails, I don't want it to keep going. Let's make this, there's a lot of space, but we'll do it like that. Alright, so remember how we do this? So we go like this, we say location, and we're going to give it the HTTP. It could be anything else, but for now we just go back to host 80 / what's the name? Crew script. Is that how it's? Oops. Dot PHP. I'm gonna check. Yeah. Where are we? Code check. All right, good. And if everything is okay, then we're going to put this in here. We're going to say dollar get message. And we're going to say sum. Well, you know something? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to say sum of the form data is empty. Sum of it. Get it? Because it's going to check. So what we do is in here, this is a perfect opportunity. So we go like this, if, and then you do this. And in here, we're going to say, what should we do? Like this. We'll take this whole thing. Don't get confused, guys. We're going to put it right inside here. Let's get a little space. This is part of that. Okay, good. And instead of saying and, we're going to say or. How about that? In the orc, this is the symbol for or. You can say the word or too, like or. But I like it this way. So we're going to check for this one, and then we're going to check for email. And we don't need to do. We can put this stuff up right here. We're going back in there, right? And then we're going to say, you know, like over here, because we want it for it to be giving us a weird message, like from these guys. So we'll just do like this for the error equals 2. That will be a query string. And then over here, where are we? We'll say error equals 3. Let's see. Some of the data is okay, good. If it doesn't catch it up there by this here, because sometimes you get it so quick, we'll leave this as there because it's going to go in there, and then this is going to check. And that's it. Well, we reached the end of the video, at least for this 4D, because now it's coming 5E. It might be a little complicated, so we're going to keep it like this for now. And if you like it and you learn something from this, and you like my style, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This way my channel could grow. Remember, I'm new to YouTube, so I want to make my channel grow and hopefully get paid in the long run. I know it's going to take several years, but at least I'm starting, okay? And I want to teach people how to do this stuff. By the way, this thing here, it's wrong. It's got to be like this. All right, so thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see each other in on video number 5E. Thank you very much. Good night.